We talk a lot about launch transition into growth stage mindset. Every business launches with a certain mindset, with certain things, certain attributes that you need to have an effective launch. Launching is not easy, and so mindset's hugely important that you're just gonna try, push, hustle. And there's nothing wrong with that because you need all the energy, all the thrust you can get off the ground to move your business off of launch mode, off the ground, into a nice orbit where it can function and be happy. We all want our business to be happy. So let's start with mindset, because launch transition can't happen until you stop thinking about launch mindset and start focusing on more of a growth mindset. I'm going to share 8 mindset hacks that will help you transition from a launch-minded operator to a growth-focused superstar. So first things first, cash flow. When everyone's in launch mode, the first thing you think about is, I need to generate some fast cash. I got to generate something quickly. I don't care what I do, but this business is going to make money. So what do? You generate fast cash. It's not hard to do. Most people can do this, but you can't sustain it because it's fast cash. So a growth stage business will always think along the lines of, I want to focus on profit. I don't want just fast cash because fast cash sometimes comes at a loss. But what I do want is profitable growth. I want money that comes in that I know I'm not losing money to fulfill what they just paid for. So, fast cash versus profit. Next thing, most launch stage businesses are thinking, let's try everything. Oh, that looks cool. We call this shiny object syndrome because they are looking all over the place for things that they can do with their business and the way that it can service people. And they think, I'm going to try everything. Well, a growth stage operator is not going to think that way. They're going to think, okay, how do I narrow what we do into a niche? Because when you're narrowing into a niche or multiple niches that are very specific, you have a stronger ability to grow and scale. Why? Because you become the leader in that niche of fulfilling whatever product or service it is that you produce. So, transition number 2 has got to be going from let's try everything to let's focus on a niche. Transition number 3 is going to be let's work with anyone. It's okay, as long as they're paying us money, we will service anybody. Well, this does work during launch because you learn a lot of things. You learn who you like to work with, you learn who you don't want to work with, and let me tell you, developing the right client persona or ICP is something that everyone has to do if they want to think about transitioning into a growth mindset. When you know who you want to work with and you know what niche you're operating in, and you're focusing on profit, these first 3 stages are so important. These 3 transitions will lead you to a mindset that makes it easy to focus on the other 4. Organic growth, meaning word of mouth. People are going to hear about you. People are going to talk to their friends. This is a great way to get started in growing your business because most people that start a business do have friends. Most employees have friends and family. These friends and family become your first types of clients, and guess what? It's important that you work with friends and family because you get good feedback and you get moving on your launch strategy. Moving into growth, you start working with paid or boosted ads. When you work with paid and boosted ads, it brings it 1 level further, maybe even 100 levels further than your organic growth. Why? Because you can choose who to put that post in front of. You can choose who to put that ad in front of. And so rather than just talking to your friends and family, you talk to people that are like your friends and family, and every growth business makes this move, but you can't do it without knowing your ICP, knowing your niche, and focusing on profitable products. So that next layer just got added. Let's go to step number 5, where we're gonna wear lots of hats. Every startup sometimes brags about the fact that they can wear lots of hats. Well, wearing lots of hats is great to get you going. In fact, you need people that can wear lots of hats to get you launched. Why? Because you can't fit 1,000 people on your rocket, generally, during liftoff. But once you've made it to a space station, a spaceport, or wherever it is your destination is, you start adding people to your mix along the way. As you start to add people to your company, it is absolutely critical that you start thinking, I don't need any more generalists, I need specialists. So when you hire experts in your business, you are going to see a whole new level of growth that you've never seen before. This is getting fun because this launch transition is happening. And if you're not seeing these changes right now, this is where your mindset needs to go. During launch phase, most businesses learn as we go. In fact, I hear a lot of people on my podcast talk about this. We just kind of listened and we learned as we went along with what our clients wanted. That's great, but a growth-centric business will focus on consistent processes. You absolutely cannot scale without consistent processes. Oh, but my business is custom and every client's unique and they're a special unicorn. Well, guess what? During launch mode, everyone feels like that. My clients are so specific, they're so special, they're just unique, and everyone needs to be served differently. You can't scale a business like that. So if you have a special, unique thing that you do, start thinking of how do we build a consistent process to deliver that product or service that we work with. This leads to phenomenal growth. If you are stuck building a custom solution, there is a ceiling, there is a cap to how big you can grow. Why? Because chances are you, the founder, are the one who's the bottleneck. You can't work 1,000 hours a week. But if you have 100 people putting in 10 hours a week, you're gonna get there really, really quickly. So how do you fulfill these needs? Consistent processes with hired experts, with paid boosted ads, reaching out to your ICP in a targeted niche, focusing on profit. You get the pattern here? So another step from transitioning to launch mindset into a growth mindset is random revenue. That's right, you're taking money from anybody. You're taking it from potential service partners, you're taking it from potential clients, you're taking it from clients, you're getting repeat clients, you got all this kind of stuff moving along the way, and you don't really know who the money's coming from. Well, a growth-centric business will focus on predictable revenue. How? Usually it comes in the form of a recurring monetary thing that you're offering to your clients. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be in SaaS to make money. You don't have to be in rental businesses to make money consistently. You can modify your product or service to identify when your customers will be staged for a repeat purchase. If you don't have the ability to do that, think about your product, think about your service. Is there a way that you can create a repeatable revenue system for the clients you're serving right now? If you don't, you're gonna have problems growing and scaling. If you do, you're well down the path of doing this. Lastly, every startup thinks this way: hustle, hustle, hustle. Why? Because the more revenue they can bring in, the less equity they gotta give away at their next raise, or the quicker they get out of their bootstrap mode of, I gotta pull money out of my home equity, or I gotta pull money out of my kids' education fund to build the business. Work smarter, not harder. Most founders find themselves, as they start to grow, working 100+ hours a week. That is not healthy, nor is it sustainable. Work smarter, not harder ties into the previous steps we've talked about predictable revenue, about having consistent processes, and having experts working on your team who are delivering services to people found outside of your known network, using paid ads, boosted ads, connecting with your target ICP in a specific niche, focusing on profit. I hope this makes sense, and I hope you understand that growth isn't always about launch mode. Launch will get you to a certain stage, but growth is an entirely different mindset. It's an entirely set of actions, and when you can really start to understand the difference between a launch mindset versus a growth mindset, and launch activity versus growth activity, you will see why it's so critical to transition your revenue rocket from a launching mechanism into a very specific, tightly, actively working on very specific problem solvings. Slight nudges, slight movements make big differences as you work in a growth mindset. I hope this has helped you start thinking about the things in your business, and if it has, awesome. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We hope this content helps you transition from launch mode into scale up mode. Growth is so much fun when you're doing it in the right mindset. Hope you enjoyed the content.